Your boy Said Linus checking in once again. This is Virtue.News Sports NFL Week 8 preview. This is our live recording. We're going to be talking about some games. We're going to be talking about the Patriots, Lamar Jackson, and more. Right now, I got to let you know we're handling some business. We are on the Fanbase app right now, recording live in the audio room. Make sure that you download the Fanbase app. That way, you can always be notified every time that we go live and do our live recording. And then also you can come in the audio room and be a part of the show. You can raise your hand and you can come up and you can speak your piece on what's going on and the topics that we talk about as far as the NFL. Now also, and I have to ping this. I'm going to ping this to the top of the room. This is the Virtue.News. This show is sponsored by Virtue.News, so make sure that you head over to Virtue.News so that you can get all of your news from there. It's a great news source, and it don't got all that cut on it like a lot of these other websites do. And so head over to Virtue.News. They sponsored this show, and it's a great online publication. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and talk about this week's games, 6 of them. You know we do 6 each week, trying to spread it around, trying to get a lot of teams involved. But, you know, we like to always do the Thursday night game and the Sunday night game and the Monday night games. Then we'll pick a couple games in the middle of the week. I mean, within the week that we really like. A lot of times I pick the 49ers because that's my favorite team and I know I'm going to watch the game. So we're going to start off with the Thursday night game, which is the Minnesota Vikings versus the LA Chargers. Now, this is going to be a very big game for the Minnesota Vikings. Even though they're 3-3, I feel like this has a lot to do with their season because the NFC North is a really tough division. You got Detroit, who's looking really good. You got the Packers, who've only lost one game. They tied a game also, but they're looking really good. Then you have the Bears, who are on a 4-game winning streak. They're looking really good. And then you have the Minnesota Vikings, who should be just as good as any other team in that division. But the quarterback play has been something that has been very lackluster with Carson Wentz. He's 95 for 142, 5 touchdowns, 4 picks, over 1,000 yards passing in the air. Mason, 84 carries, 4 touchdowns, 380 yards, and Justin Jefferson, 34 receptions, 1 TD. They also got Addison, what I think is a very deadly receiving combination. One of the best in the NFL. Now, J.J. McCarthy. Everybody wants to know when J.J. McCarthy is coming back. I don't know. So right now, listed for tonight, Carson Wentz is the quarterback. So J.J. McCarthy is sitting out again. I do hear things like he is progressing, but it don't seem like that they are rushing to get to him. Maybe it's because he's really that hurt and they want to protect their asset as a young quarterback. Or maybe it's just that, you know, the more time he can sit back and just learn from being on the sidelines is better than the way that he actually played. Because when he was playing, he had a really good game, and then the next game he had a really bad, I'm going to say a really bad game, but they didn't win and put up any points. It was a very stagnant offense. So we're going to see what they do with J.J. McCarthy. I'm a Michigan man. I love J.J. McCarthy. I think he's a great pick for the Minnesota Vikings, and I think he's the quarterback of the future. So I don't want them to feel like that they have to ride this thing with Carson Wentz all the way to the playoffs or whatever. I think as soon as J.J. McCarthy can play, he needs to be back out there to build that continuity for the future. Now we got the LA Chargers, and it's ironic because J.J. McCarthy played for Jim Harbaugh at Michigan, and Jim Harbaugh is the coach of the Los Angeles Chargers, who has Justin Herbert, 183 for 271, 13 touchdowns, 6 picks for 1,913 yards, which is I think he's probably leading the league with that type of yardage Keenan Allen, once again, 44 receptions, 4 touchdowns, 435 receiving yards. These type of games, these Thursday night games, is where Justin Herbert needs to earn his money, and not really like earn his money contract wise, but that too. But also, we talk about Justin Herbert in a very high regard as being one of the best quarterbacks, but then it's like we have not seen him carry this team. And so it's time for him to carry this team, because I'm looking at him and I'm saying, look, we know how good Phil Rivers was, but Phil Rivers never got really deep in the playoffs. He missed the playoffs a lot. You know what I'm saying? But he was always regarded as a top quarterback. You know what I'm saying? We judge quarterbacks off of wins and losses as well. And so we're going to continue to prop Justin Herbert up as a top quarterback. He has no excuse, I feel like, for the Los Angeles Chargers to be 4-3 right now. This should be a 5-2, 6-1 ball club. And they have a great coach. So he's going to have to start. And don't get me wrong, he has great numbers, but now we got to start winning. We got to start bringing them home. We can't be losing close games. Those are the things that we put on the quarterback. We put it on Lamar. We put it on Burrow. We put it on Patrick Mahomes. We put it on all the great quarterbacks. You got to stop losing the close games, and you got to start bringing it home. This would be a great win on Thursday night for Justin Herbert and the Chargers to go ahead and go 5-3, and for Justin Herbert to get that a win that everybody is looking at. This is not a regional television. This is everybody's looking at this game on Thursday, and so this would be a good win for Justin Herbert. Now we're going to move over to the Buffalo Bills. Are going to be playing the Carolina Panthers. Now, this is a really good game. This is a Sunday 12 o'clock game. Now, the reason why I'm so interested in this game is because Bryce Young, I talked about him earlier in the year, and was wondering if the Panthers were going to get off of Bryce Young, and they didn't. And so now they won 3 in a row. Bryce Young is a 138 for 224, 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions for 1,288 yards. And the Dowdle, the running back for the Panthers, is having a great year. 551 rushing yards, 98 carries, 2 touchdowns. And so, and I actually picked him up on fantasy really by mistake, and it's been working out great for me since I picked him up on fantasy. But I will say this, that the Bills should be a better team and should win this game. Bryce Young is doubtful for this game. I would like them to keep the momentum. So I'm saying, if Bryce Young, if you are doubtful, if there's any way you can play, I think you should go ahead and suit up and go ahead and play. Because once you sit out a game, it breaks the continuity and you got to start all over again. I would like Bryce Young to be out there. But Josh Allen, 1,397 yards, 122 for 178, 11 touchdowns, 4 picks. They lost 2 in a row. They have to get this win, because once you lose 3 in a row, people are going to start asking questions. And their defense, they have Kincaid, the tight end, is questionable. They got some guys hurt on defense. Bernard is questionable. But they need to get this win. They really do. And I think if they get this win and they get it decisively, they can say, hey, we beat another team that was on a 3-game win streak. And we're back at the top of the AFC. The AFC is starting to shape up to be a little bit tough, because you got teams like the Broncos 5-2, the Patriots 5-2. You got the Bills, if they get a win, they're 5-2. You still got the Chiefs who are making their way. Somehow, some way, maybe the Ravens can get it together if Lamar comes back. So there are teams floating around. The Indianapolis Colts, who are 6-1. The AFC is starting to shape up to be kind of a packed conference where we don't know who's going to come out. So I think the Bills. So everybody has to win. Just keep winning. And this is a game that the Bills want to win. They don't want to fall too far behind, especially the Patriots in the AFC. So let's move over to the next game. San Francisco 49ers are going to play the Texans. And this game is on 12 o'clock on Sunday in Houston, Texas. Shout out to Houston. We talk about the 49ers every week. on this show. That's because that's my favorite team. Everybody knows it's my favorite team. I can't wait to get Brock Purdy back. He's been back practicing, but very limited. I still do not think he's going to play in this game. Right now, they got Mac Jones listed as a starter. Mac Jones, 6 touchdowns, 4 picks, 130 for 194 yards, 1,404 yards. Christian McCaffrey is back in tip-top shape, tip-top form. 132 carries, 3 touchdowns for 465 yards. 53 receptions, 3 touchdowns. 516 receiving yards. He's leading the team in rushing and receiving. And I think he's playing great. And I think he's offensively, he's the reason why we're winning. George Kittle only got 2 targets last week. I'm pretty sure they're going to come right out and get George Kittle involved in the offense right away. We're happy to have him back. Not sure if Ricky Pearsall is going to play, but I think Ricky Pearsall is going to come back, and so that'll be good for the offense. So then we will only be missing Brock Purdy, and I think we're a pretty darn good team with Mac Jones. Without Brock Purdy, we will be even better with Brock Purdy, but I think that that we can win some games, and this is another game that we would love to win. Now, our defense is suffering. I mean, Fred Warner is on the injury reserve. Huff is doubtful for the game. He leads us in sacks. I do think that our pass rush has taken a severe hit. We're not getting to the quarterback as much as we have known to get to the quarterback in recent years. Nick Bosa is out for the year. So we're going to have to see this game pan out. I watched the Houston Texans last week. Defense are really some headhunters. They can go get the ball. They get strips. They get interceptions. Really tough team on defense. With a defensive-minded head coach who was the 49ers defensive coordinator. So we know that. But C.J. Stroud has to play better, has to get better blocking. I don't think Nick Chubb has panned out to what they thought or wanted initially. Nico Collins is questionable. They have some really – they're going in the wrong direction. So that's why I think that 49ers will win this game handedly. But I really hope that the Texans can get things back into order. But it just looks like that they're heading in the wrong direction. Then we got another 12 o'clock game, the New York Giants versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And this is a really big game. It's a replay of the game that happened a couple weeks ago. Now, it was Jackson Dart first start. And he went out there and he beat the Eagles. And Scatterboo, they really punked the Eagles. Really, that's what they did. They beat the Eagles handedly. This was in the midst of the whole narrative of, is the Eagles offense boring? Is Jalen throwing the ball enough? Are they running enough? All of these different things are going on. And the Eagles pretty much succumbed to all of the outside noise and outside narrative. New York Giants had a big lead on the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos scored 33 points in the fourth quarter to come back and beat the Giants last week. And so the Giants would like nothing more than for Jackson Dart and Scatterboo to play exactly like they played a few weeks ago, and to really bring it to the Eagles, to really punk them. And I think that the Eagles' problem is not their offense. I think the Eagles' problem is their defense. The Eagles are a run-first team, and so when their defense doesn't hold up, it makes the Eagles have to pass the ball when they don't want to keep up with the scoring. And so when that happens, they end up looking pedestrian. You start to see Jalen Hurts get sacked a lot. So those are the things that really throw the Eagles off. If their defense can really hold up, they can run the football and pass off of the run. And that's what I call the Eagles way. And I think they have that style mastered. But anytime you want to speed them up and you're scoring a lot of points and you speed up their offense, that's the way that you can actually beat them. And so that's something they're going to have to work on. But I still see the Eagles pulling that game out against New York. Now we have we have a Sunday night game, the Green Bay Packers versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everybody will be watching this game. This will be a great game. I mean, the Packers are 4-1-1. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 4-2. I like these games. These games are like throwback games. Remind me of the old NFL. Jordan Love, 122 for 176, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions for 1,438 yards. Jacobs is questionable. They got Kraft, who's 23 receptions, 4 TDs, 326 yards. These are two teams also who are right on that brink of being considered a top team. Green Bay has looked iffy a few times, but whoever wins this game, they're going to automatically start talking about this team as a top 5 team in the league. Aaron Rodgers, 118 for 172, 14 touchdowns, 5 picks, 1,270 yards. DK Metcalf, 406 receiving yards. So I pretty much think that, you know what I'm saying, this is a really big game for both of these teams. Now, what I tell you about the NFC North, Green Bay Packers do not want to get caught back into losing games that they don't have to lose, because the NFC North division is a very, very tight division. The Pittsburgh Steelers can actually, if they get a win, they can actually start running away with their division, because the Browns aren't doing anything. I don't have a good future for the Browns. And I think the Flacco thing with the Bengals is going to wear out pretty soon. We don't know what's going to happen with Lamar Jackson, and we could talk about that a little bit later, on whether or not when he comes back, is that going to be a great spark for the Ravens. So Pittsburgh Steelers, if they get this game, they can actually run away with it. And Green Bay doesn't want to lose this game, because it really will crunch them up in that pack, in that division. So this is a really big game for Sunday night. We got Rodney Ricks in the building. If you can talk, holler at us. You know what I'm saying. If not, all good.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you. What's going on?
Yeah. Because you talking about a real exciting game. It's kind of, I don't want to say a must win, because I that would be speaking out of order. But it's a big game for Pittsburgh. Like you said, they could run away with it, but I think it sets things up to make the divisions a little more interesting. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers will probably drop this one, and Lamar comes back and Baltimore makes a run. Um, but again, like you said, on both sides, it paints a real the picture's still not clear in both divisions, but I think it's just going to make serve to make both divisions that much more interesting, because with Detroit going on the run that they're going on, and them back and forth, them and Green Bay are just going to be trading blows back and forth. Um, and again, I think Pittsburgh, I think they're kind of on a high right now, but I think they might be slightly humbled this week.
Okay. Yep. Then we're gonna go to the Monday night game. We got the Commanders versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Which, I think the Kansas City Chiefs are playing probably some of the best football, especially offensively. I mean, and they held, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think the Raiders scored a touchdown, a field goal, nothing, in that game against the Raiders last week. And then you have the Commanders, who are banged up, even though I think Terry McLaurin has been listed as active. So we will see how that looks. Daniels is doubtful as of right now. I'm not sure if you know more about his injury, but hopefully he comes back. But with the Commanders being a little bit banged up and trying to get guys back, and then the Kansas City Chiefs are looking like they are super healthy. They're getting guys back, and they're off to the running. What do you think you feel like this game is going to shape out to be?
I think that this game is gonna probably have me in tears by the end of the night. It's, it's just it doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good. Everything about it is now. Now look. it's the National Football League, so anything can happen. But the way that the Kansas City Chiefs are playing right now, and there's so much going on with my Commanders, man. We signed Traylon Burks. I don't know if anybody remembers him. He's projected to do well coming out of Arkansas, going to Tennessee, but they cut ties with him a couple weeks back, a couple months or so ago. Um, we just signed Robbie Chosen off the street. They were actually talking about doing a deal. I can't even say it went as far as talking about doing a deal, but it was rumors swirling around about getting Jacoby Myers from the Raiders.
Okay.
Um, but that if Terry McLaurin and Debo both play, um, now although the receiver situation has been an issue, we've got bigger fish to fry. Our defense needs help. We need to go sign C.J. Gardner Johnson, and nobody is. I don't know. He must be a complete cancer in the locker room because we are in dire straits. We need that guy like last week, man, and nobody's making a move. I think the Ravens had him in the building for like 2 weeks or so, and then they cut ties with him. This was after the Texans situation, so something must be going on. Um, but we need him. I mean, they were talking about us possibly doing a trade with the Patriots to get Kyle Duggar. We need something because with a full complement of receivers on that Kansas City side, and we going in there with what we have as of right now, it's going to be a sad situation.
Yeah, and so if we looking at the NFC East right now, and we have the Eagles 5-2, we have the Cowboys 4-3, then we have the Giants 2-5, and then we have the Commanders who are 3-4. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
not mistaken, 3-4.
Yep.
What is your projection on what the Commanders could do to bounce back in the NFC East? Are they going to have to run the table to get into the playoffs? Because then when you think about the other divisions, I mean, the NFC North, with the Detroit and Bears playing good and Green Bay playing good, you got the NFC West, you got Seattle, you got the Rams, you got 49ers. Uh, um, will this game pretty much decide you guys' fate, or what is going to happen to be able for the Commanders to be able to make a run for the playoffs?
The main thing is, and this is what I know I've complained to you and everybody else about this several times, but we have one of the hardest schedules in the league, and the thing is that what's ahead, we would have to run the table, but now that's not going to happen because what we have ahead of us, we've got to play Kansas City Chiefs on a Monday night. If I'm not mistaken, on a Sunday night we have to play the Seattle Seahawks the following week, and then I think we've got Detroit after that. Like,
Oh
who?
man,
What?
that's
What is that about? Like,
yo, we need to know how they come up with the schedules. I really would love to know how y'all come up with the schedules because there's some guys, I ain't gonna name no names, Bills,
mm-hmm.
who got a very easy schedule. And
Yes,
I mean, the 49ers, we got a little easy streak coming up pretty soon too, but it's like some of these schedules are just mind-boggling. I thought the Chiefs got a pretty, because look, if you think about making this schedule before the season,
mm-hmm.
these are two top teams playing against each other again. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? As much as a tough game this is supposed to be for the Commanders, this is supposed to be a tough game for the Chiefs as well. So
exactly.
I'm just wondering who's making these schedules and how they do it. You know what I'm saying?
Now I've watched a segment on the people that actually make the schedule and when they make it. I've seen it. I've actually seen the faces of the people who do this. Now it's been a while since I've watched it, but it was like three key people. And I'm sure it's other people involved, but they were at the top of the list as far as like how the schedule is made. And I can't say that there's a real rhyme or reason to it, but that's how it's going to shake out, man. Some teams are just going to have a cakewalk sometimes, but I think that is on purpose. I got to be honest. I do, because and I'm not just being biased talking about my team, but man, we've got a real tough schedule because it doesn't get we still got to play the Broncos, who are playing good ball. Um but I don't know. They needed me. They needed me in the office. I would have objected to a lot of these games because look, okay. So not only is it strength of schedule that I have the problem with, because I mean, everybody's in the NFL. So if you're a tough team, you're a tough team. But I'm talking about these back to back to back.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm talking about too.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about too. Is the back to back to back games. I mean, even think about the Ravens. They started them off on a treacherous. You know what I'm saying? They played Detroit. They played Kansas City. They played the Bills. You know what I'm saying? They really had a treacherous first few games. But so yeah, man. It's like I say, man. It seemed like, you know what I'm saying, they kind of got who they want. You know what I'm saying? Who they want to have an easy schedule. But like I said, it's the NFL. You got to go out and win
That's right.
games at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. True indeed.
We're gonna move over to the top 5 power rankings. I'm picking my top 5 teams through week 7 before the start of week 8. And now look, this was, to be honest with you, I literally thought that as the further the season got, the power rankings will become easier. And it seems like now I'm thinking that the power rankings become harder in the middle of the season, and then maybe it's going to get easier by the end of the season.
I would agree.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking, because this week, I think last week I said this was the hardest week, and then this week was another hard week as well. And so I'm going to go ahead and give you my top 5 power rankings, and look, there's another 5 that could probably be put in place of this 5. That's how crazy it is. I could come up with another 5 that could probably knock all these 5 off and then be another power ranking.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just go ahead with the top 5 power ranking through week 7 before the week 8 season starts. I mean, week starts. Number 5, we got the Buffalo Bills. I got the Buffalo Bills coming in at number 5. They had a bye last week. I don't want to penalize them too much for having a bye, but they did lose 2 games in a row. But I do think the Bills are going to come back and beat the Panthers, even though the Panthers are on a 3-game winning streak. And hopefully they worked on a lot of things that they need to do better. You know, just flat out do better, play better defense. Josh Allen has to protect the ball and throw the ball better. So, but I do think that they still are a top 5 team, so I still have the Bills coming in at number 5. Number 4, I have the Chiefs. I think they're currently playing better football than anybody, but they're going to have to do it for a few more games before I move them up to the number 1 and number 2 position. I think this game against the Commanders will tell a lot as well, but I do have the Chiefs coming in at number 4. Number 3, I have the Eagles. The Eagles got a big win against the Vikings, which I thought should have been a runaway blowout. But the Eagles have a problem, and I'm going to tell you what the problem with the Eagles is. Their defense. And when their defense does not come to play, and when their defense can't stop the other team, it makes the Eagles' offense have to play at a pace that they are not used. I'm not going to say not used to. I'm going to say that doesn't favor them to what they like to do and what they want to do in their best abilities. And it reminds me of the 49ers when we went to the Super Bowl and we had Jimmy Garoppolo. It reminds me of that team, of where we was run first, pass second, and our defense could really stop teams. And anytime that we played against a team that was scoring on our defense, which didn't happen that much, it really made it tough for us to have to throw. We never wanted to be in a position where we had to throw. Mm-hmm. And so even though, I mean, don't get me wrong, I believe Jalen Hurts is a much better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo. But so the Eagles are definitely in a better standing in that way. But I think that's how you beat the Eagles. You pass a lot, you score a lot, and it puts pressure on their offense to have to throw the ball as well. And that's the way you beat them. I do think they're going to tie up some of these loose ends defensively. And also just get healthier, pretty much. But I do think that they are number 3 in the NFL right now. Number 2, I have Detroit, which is that culture over there is just a winning culture. Oh my goodness. Oh man, and they trip me out because really, when they really can get a big win, when they really can, I'm talking really get a big win, it's like they'll lose, and I'll be like, come on guys, y'all better than this, you know what I'm saying? And then they'll come back and then they'll have a big win, you know what I'm saying? So, but I think they're a really tough team right now, and I really like the way Jared Goff is playing. St. Brown is playing good. Gibbs is playing good. I think they're a really tough team to beat. You know what I'm saying? They're going to go for it on fourth downs. We know that. So I really think they're a tough team to beat. So I got them at number 2, and then number 1 I have the Indianapolis Colts, and I picked them. I picked them.
Right on.
You know what I'm saying? I picked them. I can't even justify it.
They're a complete ball club. That's the justification. They are a complete ball club.
They're a complete ball club. They're. I mean, I think they have the best running back in the league. Daniel Jones got up out of New York. Now he's showing off for the league, letting everybody know what he can do. And look, you can go back and look and say, oh, they beat this team, they beat that team. But regardless of the fact, this is the NFL. We talked about it. Anytime you are 6-1, you are a darn good football team. You know what I'm saying? You're a darn good football team. And look. We're probably going to start seeing them more on TV nationally, because what happens a lot of times is that when teams are not good for a while, they end up just being regional TV teams. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then so a lot of times nationally, we be like, oh well, we Colts are 6-1, but they haven't come on our TV yet. You know what I'm saying? Or we haven't seen them yet. You're going to start seeing late. You know what I'm saying? In the year, you're going to start seeing these guys be a national team. But right now they're 6-1, and they put points on the board. They can score. They can
stop you.
And they can stop you. That's the NFL. That's that's an NFL team. They can outscore you and they can stop you, and that's what the Colts is doing right now. So right now I got them at number 1. Any team that I know I left off some teams, but any teams you want to highlight that you think are probably just as justified as being a top 5 team?
I mean, there's really no glaring absences. I would say I would throw at the moment I would throw the Rams in there.
Yep.
Seattle, actually, Joel, the NFC West besides the Cardinals, because I mean, the 49ers have some concerns with the injuries, but they're playing exceptionally well with those injuries, because and that I can identify with that, because I wish my team was able to be that resilient to play like the 49ers and to play like the Detroit Lions are, because those two teams are banged up as well, but they're still finding a way to win. And Tampa Bay, we'll see what they're able to do, if they're able to overcome their injuries, which I think they will be. But I did want to just chime in one thing on the comparison you made about the Eagles team being compared to that 49ers team.
Okay.
I 100% agree. I think that 49ers team treated passing as a luxury. They had the luxury to pass.
Yes.
They didn't want to have to pass, but it was a luxury to be able to do it. And to say what you said about that Philly defense, this is what I think a lot of people need to look at. Brandon Graham was on Good Morning Football since the beginning of the season. Brandon Graham chimed in 2 weeks in a row talking about how displeased he was with the defensive showing that the Philadelphia Eagles put out. Then he proved to be so dissatisfied that my man left the set of Good Morning Football, and he has re-signed with the Philadelphia Eagles to go back and play. He is unretired. I said, man, talk about not just talking about it.
Yep.
Like he's like, yo, something's got to be done.
Yep.
So my man traded in his loafers and went and put his cape back on, and he's taking the field. I heard that, man. So so that defense needs help to the point that Brandon Graham saw fit to actually take action. So
yeah, man. Yeah, it's a and look, I mean the Eagles, I mean they played very, I mean, they won a Super Bowl last year. You know what I mean? And, the 49ers went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, but you remember in that Super Bowl, we were up 13 going into the fourth quarter, And it just so happened that when Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs scored 2 times in a row,
Mm-hmm.
we started panicking, and then we was like, oh, we got to pass the ball, because now if we don't pass the ball, they just gonna have a shootout on us, and they just gonna run up the scoreboard in the fourth quarter. So we gotta pass the ball. And what happened was that when we forced Jimmy Garoppolo to pass the ball, he threw interceptions. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the way to win with ball clubs like that is for your defense. Your defense has to be very, very solid, so that you can play your offense at the pace that you want to
Yes.
play. You know what I'm saying? Want to play it at. All right, let's talk about the Patriots now. The Patriots are the Patriots are 5-2, and people are asking, are they for real? They beat the Bills. They have a couple really good games come. So they play the Browns this week, then they play the Falcons, then they play the Buccaneers, Jets, and Bengals. Looks like that probably at least they're gonna go. Well, this is NFL. You got to play the games, but 4 out of the 5 games they have coming up next are very winnable games that you would actually pick them to win. Are the Patriots a real team and a real contender in that NFC West? Is that, I mean, in the AFC? I'm sorry, AFC North. AFC North, right? It's the AFC North. They when you have the Patriots, are they going to take over the AFC North from the Buffalo Bills this year with Vrabel as their coach, Drake May as the quarterback? They have Stephon Diggs. Are they a serious team, or are we going to see this team falter later in the season? I believe that they're going to go to the playoff. They're going to be a very tough team to beat, but time will tell. What do you think?
Yeah. Now that's the East. They're the AFC
Oh, the
East.
AFC East. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The North is the Ravens and the Browns and everybody.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay, yep.
Now only thing I will say about the New England Patriots right off, man, is that, and I thought this in the offseason. I actually talked to a lot of, I ain't gonna say a lot, but a few Patriots fans, and I told them, I said, yo, y'all dark days are about to end, because they are a well-coached team. I've always been high on Mike Vrabel as a coach, and I think they believe in him, and I think he's showing them that that he believes in them. And I don't, of course, I don't have them winning a Super Bowl or anything like that this year, but I think that they've got the pieces to have that future where they need it to be. So as far as taking over, I think they're in a position to start giving Buffalo a run for their money, because, man, if I was a betting man, I, I would actually okay, I'll put it like this. If Buffalo were to play Denver tonight, I would be picking Denver to win.
And that's you pick Denver to win. Okay.
Against the Buffalo Bills.
Okay. You know what? I would too. And even though I got Bills at number 5, I have to see them. That's why I think this is a big week. And they're playing against a team that has a 3-game win streak, even though Bryce Young is doubtful.
Yep.
But I think this is a good measuring stick for who the Bills are going to be for the rest of the year. Because I'm gonna tell you what, if they lose this game, I'm not sitting here saying that I'm counting them out.
Right.
But it just leads us to believe that the problems that they have are much bigger than you know what I'm saying, than their record. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I would agree with that. My daughter just came home, so let's go ahead and get this one last topic in, because she about to wreck shop. I can already feel it. If Lamar Jackson comes back this week, which he is listed as the starting quarterback, he's been to practice, not sure if he's going to play, but if Lamar Jackson comes back this week, and they have the Bears, they have the Dolphins, the Vikings, the Browns, the Jets, and then the Bengals in the next 6 games, do you believe that they can turn their season around and make the playoffs? I don't think so. I don't think so. Even though I think Lamar is incredible, and I think they're going to win. I think if he comes back, they're going to win a good amount of games. But I just think that there's too many teams that are already off to the races that it will be too hard to make up that ground if Lamar Jackson comes back. What do you think?
I think it's doable. Um, because if you just off the top of my head, it's like seven. You got the Colts, you got the Steelers that are playing good ball. Buffalo, New England's playing good ball. Um, those are the teams that they're basically going to have to compete with. But we can just narrow it down to their division, depending on what happens with the Steelers. Like, did you see the other night when, or the other day, it might have been last week when the Steelers were celebrating and the offensive lineman tackled Aaron Rodgers by mistake,
Yeah, that joke was so
and he,
funny.
dude, did you see his reaction?
I know.
He got up, pushed the dude, told him to get off of him.
I know.
That's the mindset of a man that's worried about getting injured.
I know. He
So
was so ticked off.
he was ticked off. The Steelers are one mild injury away from missing the playoffs.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So if something, and I would hate for that to happen. God forbid. I love Mike Tomlin. I like Aaron Rodgers a lot, and I like what they're doing over there. But that's how up and down and how quick things can happen. So if they can catch lightning in the bottle, they can edge out some of these teams, man. But
Yeah,
I get
because right now, if you're looking at, you know what I'm saying, you named four teams. The Broncos also 5-2, so that's five teams we're looking at. That's probably solid. Couple more
right.
spots,
Mm-hmm.
couple more spots, and I, it's really, the Ravens is up for grab. You know what I'm saying? It's for the taking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they have a lot of ground to make up. But that's our show for today. Thank you guys for coming back. Thank you, Cuz, for stepping
Yes,
in.
sir.
This is the NFL Week 8 preview. The episode should be out today before the game tonight. Then check it out whenever you can on YouTube or anywhere you have podcasts. And yeah, just check out our clips. I'm uploading a lot of clips as well. So that's the show. I will holler at y'all next week. All right, peace.